The formation of Iraq's new government comes as U.S. combat forces prepare to leave. They're supposed to be out of the country by August. U.S. Ambassador to Iraq, Christopher Hill, joins us now from Baghdad. Thank you so much for being with us, Ambassador. This election was seen as a real test of Iraq's stability. How does the U.S. think it went?
Well, first of all, I think the election went pretty well. We had monitors throughout the country, teams in all parts of the country, and they all reported very good turnout, and they reported a pretty peaceful situation out there. And I must say, as someone who is living here in the green zone, there were no mortars and no rockets that I heard reported. So, we are not aware of that sort of problem we've heard in the media. I will say that, we do have a difficult process ahead, as President Obama said. First, they need to announce the results and then get on with the process of forming the government. And it'll be a coalition of several coalitions, and it'll take some political skill to get through it.
How worried are you that could really set the stage for months of turmoil ahead, the jockeying, the wrangling, and the tensions around that?
Well, it will be a political process, and I think that's one thing that your viewers need to understand, that Iraq's political process is driven by politics. Security is something that they have gotten a handle on. So when you look at the political process, you see 5 different coalitions, all of whom have been campaigning very vigorously against each other. And now they're going to have to, once the results are announced, they're going to have to figure out a way to work together. They've done it before. I'm sure they'll do it this time. But the question is, we'd like to see them do it earlier rather than later.
This election, though, Ambassador, was also so important for the United States, too, as kind of a last milestone before the final withdrawal of U.S. combat troops, right?
Well, what we are doing by the end of August this year is ceasing all combat operations. And our troops that remain here, which would be up to 50,000 U.S. troops, which, by the way, is a rather robust force, they will be involved in advising and assisting Iraqi forces. So what I think is important for us is not so much the troop issue, but rather, can Iraq have a successful election? Can it have a government formation? Because we would like to have a long-term relationship with this very important, very strategic country in the Middle East.
Nouri al-Maliki had said earlier that if the security situation were to deteriorate, he may ask U.S. troops to stay on. Have you had those kinds of conversations with officials there?
Well, with due respect, that's not really what he said. I think the issue was we have a security agreement that will expire at the end of next year, and that's the point at which all U.S. troops will be out of Iraq. So I think the question posed to him was whether he could foresee wanting to have some kind of relationship with the U.S. military after 2011, and I think he was trying to keep that question open. Look, we have developing a very good relationship with Iraq. We are involved with them in many different areas, diplomatically, politically. We're really involved in so many areas. I've been able to travel around the country. I've met with university presidents. I've met with business leaders. We want to develop a broad range relationship that touches on so many of our mutual interests, and that's really what we're aiming for here.